Steve Peterson here with Infinity Investments, and welcome to our channel. We talk all things commercial and investment real estate. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to completely screw up your 1031 exchange, even when you think you're doing everything right. That's right, how to completely screw it up. And I think you need to know this so that you don't screw it up, so that you do the right things to execute on this exchange so you can buy a better asset and defer capital gains taxes at the same time. Now, first thing you need to do, very first thing that you need to do is you need to identify more than one property. Even if you are absolutely sure that you are going to buy that property, 1,000% you're buying this property, you are locked in and you buy this property. You get up to 3 properties to identify. You should use all 3 of those. And if you use the 200% rule, you can identify as many properties as you want, right? As long as they're not more than 200% of the property that you sold. What I'm saying here is you don't want to limit yourself to simply one property. And to give you an example, a few years ago, I was working with a client, some great clients of mine. We sold a building. We had 3 properties that we had went into contract on during our 45-day period. And we get to the 45 days, the clients are really dead set on one of the properties. And the other 2 properties are like, we're not going to pursue these properties. Against my advice, I said, well, look, why don't we just write them down on the identification paperwork, do what we can do to maybe stretch the escrow out a little bit longer. That way we can make, either once you close on that other property, then we could just move on from these other ones. They didn't want to do that. Now, in doing that, when you have to, go through with an escrow, you may have to put up an additional deposit and, continue moving that escrow forward. So it can get awkward if you need to back out of it, and you certainly don't want to remove all your contingencies. So, that's totally understandable. However, if you lock into one property and then that property doesn't pan out, you're going to be paying some taxes. Long story short, the property did not appraise. And so we didn't close that deal. Those clients were looking at paying some taxes because of that situation. And so what I learned is to always have a backup. Second thing you can do to screw up a deal is not having a quality lender up front and not having a backup lender. Look, you need to have a lender that you're going with that you're really sure about, not somebody that you just found, somebody you really thoroughly looked at, evaluated, and this is the company that you're working with. But you also need to have a backup lender. Now, you don't want to go around shopping your loan to a million different lenders because they all know each other, especially in commercial real estate, and they're going to come back and say, this guy's shopping this loan. We don't like this guy. We don't want to work with him. But you got to have a backup, right? Because if the first lender falters, you need to have somebody to quickly slide into the deal to make it work, right? I have had constant. That happened to me recently last year in the pandemic. We were getting ready to close a deal, and everything was, we're like a week away from close, and the lender says, hey, great, appraisal's great, everything's cool. We're ready for you to sign loan documents, but instead of 65% LTV, it's 55% LTV. That was a game changer. Luckily, in that situation, I was a listing agent, but I was able to work with the buyer, and the buyer was a sophisticated buyer. He had a backup lender that he slid into the deal, and that backup lender closed the deal in like 45, 50 days from that point, and it worked out. But he had that backup lender already lined up. He didn't have to go looking and searching, because we would have canceled him if he did. But always have a really good lender that you're used to work with, or you become highly recommended, or you research, and have your backup. And the last point about screwing up your deal and how you can screw up your deal is not staying on top of all the details within an escrow and the contract. Little things you miss on a contract can screw you over in a deal. Going a day past the contingency period can screw you over on a deal, right? Not managing a relationship with a particular vendor or the other party that you're negotiating with can screw up a deal. So you really have to be aware of all the small details. You should be using a transaction coordinator if you're an agent, a broker. You should be having some help with due diligence, because you don't want to miss this, all right? And you don't want to screw up your exchange. So these 3 things are very important. Don't do them. Don't screw up your exchange. I hope this was helpful. If it was, like, subscribe, share with friends, click the Calendly link below, book an appointment, or go to our website for our 1031 exchange checklist to make sure that when you do your exchange, you're right on point and you don't make these mistakes. Until the next video, best of success in your investing career. Peace out.